After years of waiting, Indivisible is finally out. And when does inspiration become just plain ripping off? I'm Enigma, let's kick it. It's been over 4 years, but we're finally able to play Lab Zero's latest offering in Indivisible, a beautifully designed world that almost never was. Indivisible launched its Indiegogo campaign on October 5th, 2015, with a goal of $1.5 million to create a 2.5D platformer RPG with inspiration from Southern Asian mythology. If Lab Zero reached their goal, then their publisher, 505 Games, will contribute an additional $2 million to the project. This project from the beginning should have been a slam dunk. The studio had already seen major success from their burlesque-inspired fighting game Skullgirls under their previous moniker Revenge Labs, music by legendary Secret of Mana composer Hiroki Kikuta, full transparency about the project detailing all major aspects including budget and publishing, and a full-blown prototype available for anyone to download. This should have been the easiest project to reach its goal, which makes it that much more surprising when it didn't. The project went off to a great start from the first day, bringing in almost $370,000 in the first 24 hours. The next 24 hours, 18. As in only 18,000. The second day saw an almost 95% decrease in funding, and it didn't get much better from there. Over the next 2 weeks, the campaign would see only between $10,000 and $30,000 a day. Funding would see a slight increase after the prototype got released on the PS4. Now, while many projects see a bathtub curve with funding, a large amount at the beginning and at the end, while plateauing in the middle, Indivisible sunk so low that it was becoming exceedingly likely the game wouldn't get funded. What's worse is that despite using Indiegogo, the team opted for the fixed funding option, meaning it was either all or nothing. However, Indiegogo had another caveat. If a project is able to reach 60% of its goal by its deadline, they can opt for a once-off 20-day extension. They were thankfully able to reach that threshold of $900,000, and with just a few days to go, after almost 2 months, Indivisible reached its goal of $1.5 million. It's really hard to pinpoint why Indivisible struggled the way it did. It could have been due to Indiegogo not being as recognized as Kickstarter was. Another was the high goal price. See, while other games like Bloodstain, Yooka-Laylee, and My Number 9 all walked away with millions, they all had significantly lower initial goals. There was also a concern that a studio whose only previous titles were fighting games couldn't pull off a platforming RPG like this. Whatever the reason, thankfully in the end, it all worked out, with Indivisible set for release on PC, PS4, and Xbox. For now. With the game fully funded, Lab Zero would frequently update its backers. There wasn't a month or two that went by without a brand new update, detailing new concepts and mechanics about the game. While this was going on, the Wii U was floundering. After many embarrassing blunders, the system just was never able to pick up steam. And by 2015, there was already news floating around that Nintendo was planning a new system, codenamed NX. In December of 2015, it was confirmed by Lab Zero that it was just not technically possible for the Wii U to run Indivisible, but they would look into NX when it releases. As we all know, the Switch launched in March of 2017, and just 3 months later, Lab Zero confirmed Indivisible will be arriving on the Switch. Sadly, because it was introduced halfway through the development of the game, the Switch version won't be out until later this year. But I was thankfully able to get an additional digital version on PC. So, without further ado, let's check out Lab Zero's Indivisible. The game stars Ajna, a brash, hot-headed 16-year-old living in her small little village of Ashwat. However, we barely even get to learn the controls first before soldiers come in and burn to the ground and kill her father. Wow, home village burned to the ground in less than 15 minutes. New record there, guys. Confronting the man who killed her father, Ajna goes toe-to-toe with him only for him to enter her mind? Yeah, because that makes sense. I'm Anya Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to become one with my mind? Wait, what? Ajna seemingly possesses the ability to bring people into her mind's inner realm, whether they want to or not. This begins her journey of revenge, redemption, and enlightenment as she picks up more people into her head along the way, introducing us to many amazing characters. Razmi is incredibly dark and morbid, and I love it. On the other side, Thorani is just filled with warm, motherly love. The guy who killed Ajna's father, Dar, just has a punchable face, and the pirate queen, Bozai, just wishes Thorani would sit on her face. Despite first glances, this isn't really an RPG. With upgradable moves to jump higher and traverse further, this game honestly plays more like a Metroidvania with RPG bits. While each of the game's several worlds are incredibly detailed, the RPG element is so limited it makes them all feel redundant, with none of the regular role-playing tropes like stores to buy supplies and weapons, or hotels to rest up in. Instead, the combat honestly feels more like the Mana series and the turn-based style. All four of your active party are designated to a separate face button. Pressing it will have them do their attack, of which there are several determined by holding up, down, or filling the meter at the top. Pressing the same button when the enemy attacks has your character block. Timing is critical as blocking drains the ED meter at the top. The combat may not be the most in-depth mechanic, but there's just something so fun about smashing all four buttons at once and letting your party rush your opponent. The voice work is also very top-notch, with the voice of Shantae, Christina V, working as the voice director. And speaking of Shantae, the game's DLC will feature many cameos, including the obvious Shovel Knight, Shantae, Hyperlight Drifter, and Zone Tan? Nope, never heard of her. What does she do? I've never heard of her before whatsoever. Nope, not me, never. Why are you looking at me like that? It may have taken 4 years, but Indivisible feels like one of the most well-polished games we've ever been able to feature on this show. And I really can't recommend it enough. Indivisible is available right now on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, with the Switch version set for release later on this year. I hope. Earlier last week, a trailer was released for an upcoming campaign on Kickstarter, a game being created by a 2-person studio called XIXO. The project is called Enchanted Portals, and it doesn't take long to realize what this game's main inspiration is. Since the reveal, the 2 words most closely associated with this project have been Cuphead ripoff. But is it? Yeah, it's damn mad, run, gun, bullet hell with hand-drawn artwork inspired from 1940 cartoons. Cuphead doesn't own that concept though, and a blatant knockoff wouldn't look this good. I've been covering crowdfunding now for several years, and I can't begin to tell you how many games presented themselves as homages, spiritual sequels, and inspired by, with no one batting an eyelash. It's not so much that this game just plays like Cuphead, it's how it looks like it too. Now, keep in mind that only two people are working on this, and only one person is doing the animation alone, which, I'm not gonna lie, makes it look pretty damn impressive. I had a chance to talk with the guys behind this project earlier this week, and they were honestly surprised with the response the trailer received, but have agreed to take the criticism on board, like adding more original mechanics like status effects, and also changing the soundtrack to a more whimsical fantasy sound that better fits the setting of the game. Besides, there's nothing wrong with more Cuphead. My only issue is that the game is, right now, only planned for PC and Switch. So not only do PS4 owners miss out on Cuphead, they miss out on the game you get when you can't get Cuphead. Although they have confirmed to me that PS4 and Xbox will be stretch goals. Regardless of the controversy, Enchanted Portals is still set to launch its Kickstarter campaign on October 24th. So we here at Kick It wish them nothing but the absolute best. But before we go, I'm sure most of you are aware of a certain other Kickstarter title finally arriving on Switch this week. But we'll be saving that for another time. I'll see you then.